Beyoncé, SG Felice, Kruumina Antti Korpela, isoa kättä, nyt oli todella mahtava veto. Ja ennen kuin ehtii kissaa sanoa, niin seuraava hevonen saapuu areenalle. Tervetuloa Jouni Heikin Heimo ja Elka Rillo. Ja Kruumina Stefan Nyman. Ja Elka Rillo on Jounin oma tekele ja aika kokenut lajissa. Tervetuloa Jouni Heikin Heimo ja Elka Rillo. Ja Kruumina Stefan.
Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppa Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppa Gangnam Style.
Uskomatonta! Jouni Heikin Heimo, Elka Rillo, Stefan Nyman Kruumina. Nyt isoa kättä. Tässä radalla lähti yksi maailman parhaista valjakkokuskeista. FIEn rankingissa on nyt Jouni aika korkealla. Aplodit vielä sille. Mahtavaa, että Suomesta tulee tällaistakin osaamista. Ja vielä yksi kuski jäljellä. Talvikki Järvinen, Camilla Kristiansen, Kruumina vaihtoivat hevosen Dancer T. Ruuna. Teidät tekee nyt paremmin kuin eka veto. Katsotaan.
defensa me la siete, una madre de... al uno contra uno. Directamente antes de pasar a la defensa, grande se Venezuela, ¿no? Que no cuelan. La 22 es muy buena. ¿Te das cuenta cómo juegan en la esquina? ¿Eh? Es complicado quizá esto, ¿eh?
Quizá.
arquero tiene Andrés y Rosa. Rosa también defiende bien. Sí, aquí con este equipo lo que hay que hacer es un buen balance defensivo y ya está, es lo que hay que hacer. Porque si no, se la acribillan. Como tú le intentes robar la pelota, te mira. Se va de ti, va a canasta, va de ti. Buen balance y una encargada directamente de que no reciba o intentar que vaya uno contra uno hacia canasta. Retrasar lo más posible el ataque. Esquina y tiro. Lo importante es una esquina para crear un tiro cómodo. Qué bien. Bueno, pues está metido en el partido. No tiene zoom. Para poner el marcador. Es que si yo lo pongo aquí, será al revés. Si yo pongo el marcador, lo pongo aquí así, atrás como dice Juan.
Sale 42 a 82 lo que vi.
Claro, 42-82. Hacer lo que vamos a hacer a intentar. Es que no tiene zoom, tío. No tiene zoom. Bueno. Pues lo que hay.
Lo que no sirve ahí, lo del vídeo lo corta, ¿no? Lo que no sirve del vídeo lo corta.
No, dice que no, que lo quieren poner entero, pero bueno, 10 minutos entero, ¿eh? Yo pensaba cortarlo ahora, pero me dice que no. ¿Hay alguna nueva? Ahí había una. Que es Cristina debería estar jugando en este sitio. Pero que la jugó el 10 y creo que todavía no está perdida.
Ese y Cuernando, había un combate por ahí. Tiene que ir para allá por música.
¿Yo?
Falta un poquito más.
No, lo ponen él, vosotros que el teléfono. No, él trabaja. Yo lo pongo en el teléfono.
Más caro allí.
ya saca un calambre. Ya tiene problemas con auditores y demás. O con cuadros hermanos. Si van para adelante, está siguiendo nada más. Ella va a descansar el último minuto de interior,
Pero acaba de tocar, no puede
ahí en Conquero hay Marta, que va a llegar, y Hugo, que está en la ventana. No creo que haya presentaciones. En el Liga Femenina sí, pero aquí no creo. Como puedan y nadie la pare ahí y tal. No lo he visto.
Se queda pintado porque ya lo tienen pintado antes.
No lo he visto, no lo he visto. Está aquí afuera. María sí. Y la otra es otra de las buenas de... de 20 euros. Para arriba y para abajo, los dos equipos, los dos equipos.
Uno está acostumbrado, un equipo está acostumbrado a hacer, pero como no está acostumbrado a hacer,
El otro no, el otro no está acostumbrado. Aguanta porque no está acostumbrado a aguantar más el equipo. Este no, este se nota que juega así. Este se nota que juega así. Ha tirado. ¿Tú te quieres poner aquí? ¿Por qué?
No tengo punto tampoco.
No, pues mira, es así y para allá y para acá la cara, ¿sabes? Es llevar el mando para allá y para acá. Pero claro, no puedes mirar allí, hay que mirar aquí, porque si no, no cuadra, no te cuadra.
¿Tenemos que haber contado?
Termina.
Ya lo quiero ver después, lo quiero ver dos veces, no en una.
Vale.
Preferible que se quede mirando al techo.
Vale.
Yo creo que ya está, ¿no?
Sí. El problema
Caspu leads to, in second place, Avidly, in third is Stanlow, and then comes Brown Pete ahead of Chloe's Image, then on the outside, Weybridge Light in company with Your Holiday Is Over. Then behind these, Sophia's number one, Oliver's Mount, is racing next in the field, being held up towards the inside at this stage. We have Tidy Peak, and also in rear is Signor George as they make their way down the back straight here at Wolverhampton and head now for the final 6.5 furlongs. So up front, the lead is still with On the Cusp, with the red cap ahead of Avidly racing the dark blue in second. Behind these we have Brown Pete in third, on the outside of Stanlow, and then comes Weybridge Light. Just off the pace then is Chloe's Image on the inside, out wide at Oliver's Mount. Then comes Tider Peak, Your Holiday Is Over, has just lost a place or two. Towards the inside, Sophia's number one, and Signor George, the bright green cheek piece, is held up by Spencer. Pace on the increase here, they head for the half mile, and up front Avidly now has joined On the Cusp and gone past it. Here's Weybridge Light three wide with Brown Pete on the move. Brown Pete just ahead. So Weybridge Light, Tidy Peak is getting going. Oliver's Mount's at about fifth or sixth, but now bumped along by Morris. And then comes Chloe's Image on the home turn, 2.5 to go. Brown Pete has kicked for home here and leads under Shirley Teasdale by 2 lengths to Weybridge Light in second. Here comes Tidy Peak around the outside though for Stevie Donahoe as they head down for the final furlong and a half. On the outside it's Tidy Peak coming to challenge Brown Pete. They're clear of Weybridge Light, and then comes Stanlow. Tidy Peak on the near side has now just got to the front and goes a length clear with a furlong to go, and Tider Peak is now extending for Stevie Donahoe to in second Brown Pete, and they're clear of Weybridge Light and Chloe's Image, and it's Tidy Peak going 2 or 3 lengths ahead to win well for Grace Harris. Tidy Peak wins. Second place Brown Pete, close for third, just Weybridge Light third, ahead of Chloe's Image, Stanlow, Oliver's Mount and Signor George.
Tide Peak or Tidy Peak, Grace Harris for the Grace Harris Racing Syndicate, and Stevie Donahoe also been tumbling down the way. Oh, was that Avidly?
Yeah, didn't happen, did it? From the word go, Adams pushed her out. She didn't get her head in front, and she just had a really awkward head carriage the whole way. Didn't look comfortable.
Never happy at all.
No. Although sat in second place, never happy. Unlike this horse, who moved up really well. In Stevie Donahoe, good job for him. He's started the season off and done really well through the all-weather, and getting plenty of winners under his belt.
Been tumbling down the weights a little bit, Tidy Peak, so handicap maybe to run a better race today, which is exactly what has happened here. First three are all drawn low. It's probably just coincidental, but Weybridge Light was very low as well. Tide Peak or Tidy Peak, Grace Harris for the Grace Harris Racing Syndicate, and Stevie Donahoe
up the middle of the track, don't they? Shirley Teasdale. Shirley Teasdale went behind on Brown Pete, Heather Dalton's runner. But this thing's trounced up in the cellar.
11 to 1 chance. Also Did have some course form. I think the only multiple.
Oh no!
horse winner
Although
in the
sat in
field,
second
so
place, never happy. Unlike this horse,
that was an
he moved up
advantage,
really
and it
well.
paid dividends if you
In
followed
Stevie
that particular
Donahoe.
line here. 11, 14,
Good job for him. He's
12.
started the season off and done really well through the all-weather.
Double figure odds then, the
And,
first three home.
getting plenty
at
of winners
Wolverhampton.
under his
Plenty
belt.
more to come from Wolverhampton. Tumbling but down
the
we've got some
weights a
good
little bit,
American racing
Tidy
to come
Peak, so-
this evening. We're going to pick up Woodbine. It's the first day of the season there. We're getting very excited in Toronto, particularly Wes Ward fans. He could have a good night. Races 2 to 7. Keeneland as well, including the feature, which is the Jenny Wiley for the fillies and mares, about 9:45, Grade 1 event. And we've got Aqueduct. We're going to pick up the last two, including the Grade 3, the top flight, which is race 8 this evening. So all that's on the way. Let's have a look at this Woodbine race. First race for us from Woodbine this year is a maiden allowance for older horses. Only one of these, though, is actually run, despite the fact they are 4-year-olds, and that is the 5 Spring Spirit. And as you can see, punters are latching onto the idea that experience could be worth its weight in gold here, because she's very short, isn't she, at 2 to 5 here?
Yeah, it's not surprising to see this this filly as a favourite, a short price favourite as well. You've got a great combination in Patrick Husbands and Mark Cassie teaming up together. They've been some of the leading trainers and jockey combination for years, to be fair. And, well, the fact that this mare's had a handful of runs already at nice tracks here at Woodbine to start with. If we go back to the 2nd of November, closing into the back end of the meet last year as a 3-year-old, she ran over 5 furlongs, finished 4th, beaten 6 1/4 lengths, put up a relatively good speed figure, and followed that up 3 weeks later by finishing 3rd, beaten 5 3/4 lengths. Excuse me. So a small improvement there. Jumped up in the figures, up a couple of notches to run a 76 there. And then, as lots of the horses from Woodbine with the big trainers do, they ship down to Florida for the winter. Either the horses at Woodbine get turned away, or they go elsewhere, go south where there's a little bit of warmth.
I just think this is a really odd race, though. An odd race because we've got 4 of the field who are they're all 4-year-olds, aren't they? 4 of the field have never run.
Yeah.
Which immediately sort of sets alarm bells ringing into their 4-year-old season without any runs. The fact that there are 4 of them.
Yeah,
and Spring Spirit hasn't run for a year, and yet is odds on. Now, I'm guessing it's odds on because, you know, she's had some experience. She's run okay, as you've highlighted, but I don't know whether I want to be flying in really at odds on here. She may be a good thing, but
I tell you what, she breezed very well down at the Ocala training track in March prior to shipping up here to Woodbine. And that breeze, 58 2/5 over 5 furlongs, is a really sharp time. If she can reproduce that here, you know, that was the time that was actually her first run.
yeah.
That was the winning time for the winner, 58 2. Well, she's done that on a training track at home, so to speak, in preparation for this. So that should be enough to win a maiden here, I would suggest. So
That does make a lot of sense. And obviously the great thing about American cards, Richard, of course, is that we have the work.
Yeah.
So although she's been on the missing list for a long time, and that could set alarm bells ringing, and the fact that we know that she's been working well, as you say, you've highlighted one piece of work in particular, that's all positive. There's not a lot moving in the market, is there, against her?
Again, looking at betting, I would have thought Alan Garcia's. It's interesting to see Alan Garcia riding up.
He's
here.
on his travels, isn't he? I was reading about this a little bit earlier on. He's a sort of have saddle will travel type jockey these days, Alan Garcia.
It's you know, I spoke to Graham Motion about a year and a half ago, I guess, and I said to him, you know, when Johnny and Edgar and things start retiring, who do you think is going to be the one? And one of his young jockeys to pick was Alan Garcia. He said he is but he seems to have just hit a bit of a blip, hasn't he?
Well, he has, but I suppose, you know, we start afresh, don't we? New season here. He's obviously decided that this is the place to try his luck.
But he was an East Coast jockey, you know, riding plenty of winners, riding for the Kieran McLaughlins, the Godolphins, and so on.
It's a good colony to be associated with, isn't it?
Good work actually on the 5th of April. To be fair, breezed 3/8, 3 furlongs in 36. That's quite sharp. Quite sharp work. Fairly much on a par with Spring Spirit. I guess the very obvious one would be the 5 over the 1 in a straightforward exacta.
Okay, let's see what happens then. Race 2 at Woodbine.
Spring Spirit broke sharply, as did Leading Wild, and Leading Wild has taken the lead. Kentuckiana, and they're split by Call Me Baby. Duffins is back in 4th position after breaking sharply. Spring Spirit is back trailing now, and 7 lengths off the lead. That is held by Kentuckiana as they head into the far turn. Kentuckiana by a head. On the inside, Leading Wild won't let Kentuckiana get away. Ask for More run now is Call Me Baby by Davy Morin. Then we have Duffins. Spring Spirit has a lot to do and 2 furlongs to do it. And here comes Call Me Baby up on the outside to take the lead as they turn for home. Call Me Baby's taken a narrow lead on the inside. Leading Wild is fighting on courageously, and Leading Wild is coming back. Leading Wild up the rail. All heart. Final 16th of a mile, this first-time starter, Leading Wild, to win the second half of the double. Call Me Baby was second, Duffins third, Spring Spirit a disappointing 4th.
So the money has been left, hasn't it, for those who followed the favourite here, Spring Spirit. But Alan Garcia, we spoke about just before the off, getting a lovely run down on the inside on this filly here, Leading Wild, who makes a successful debut to her career. Yeah, certainly has. Spring Spirit was the disappointment, wasn't it? Finishing back in 4th place. I would suggest they're sort of almost in hand with from Patrick Husbands, but was a long way off the pace. Hasn't reproduced what she did working-wise back in March. But yeah, good start for Alan Garcia, as you say. Yeah, it's a great colony of riders up here. The prize money is monstrous. I mean, 56,000. Quite as good, does it?
No, I don't believe it is. Still not money, isn't it?
I'll check it. I can't quite remember, but yeah, you're still talking about some serious bucks, absolutely, and it's a good place to base yourself. And he could not ask for a better start. So well done to Alan Garcia on Leading Wild. David Moran. Yeah, who we know all about, don't we? Obviously. Back in second. Yeah, he's been up there. This must be his 3rd full season. Maybe even 4th full season. And he's done incredibly well to ride the winners he's ridden, and he's settled in really, really well. Yeah, good place to be based, as of course is Keeneland, where race number 3 is about to get underway. Here it's a 50,000 non-winners at 2 here, no 3 horse. Oh, I had a nap here. No, I know you. Well, not this race, later, but yeah, race 4 at a 15 to 1 nap. I know you did. You were getting very excited, Richard. I know. Even when I told you it wasn't going to be 15 to 1. And then unfortunately got scratched. That one. Yeah. So more on that later. Yeah. Anyway, here we've got 5 to 2 about the 6, Thundergram for Mark Cassian, 7 to 2 about the 10, Jumping Frack Flash. And there they are coming out fast on the main, yielding on the turf. Worth noting for a little bit later on. Anything you're particularly keen on? That was going to suit my scratched nap, that was, the yielding turf. Anyway, I'll get over it eventually. 6 is an obvious one, isn't it? Thundergram. Sean Bridgman on board for Mark Cassie. We've just seen him have a disappointing runner in the maiden up at Keeneland. But this horse has managed to win at to run well at this level already down at Oaklawn. Did run here in a maiden in October of 2013, finished 3rd on that occasion. Sean Bridgman was on board. He didn't get back on this until Oaklawn, back on the 14th of March. But as I say, there and put up a good speed figure. But I'm quite liking the look of Jumping Frack Flash, the 10, 7-2 shot. Drops down considerably in class. Ran in an allowance contest, non-winners of 2 allowance, run in a 75,000 allowance optional claimer, but actually ran for the allowance and not for the claim on that occasion. So in theory, this is the first time this horse has dropped in to a claimer.
Another interesting one, of course, we're just looking at there.
Yeah.
Scout Leader in the colours of Will Farish, of course, Mineshaft. Neil Howard training it, and I thought Neil Howard had actually retired and packed up because I hadn't seen hardly anything of him, but obviously he is still training. And this horse ran competitively at Fairgrounds for 30,000, beaten 2.5 lengths on its last start. It has run well at Keeneland, back on the 4th of April this year. So, last year. So this beginning of this meet last year, the horse ran a really good race in a first level allowance contest, put up a speed figure of 99. I just wonder if this horse could just scrape back a little bit of the form that it had. And actually, its last run, although it was on a sloppy dirt track, its last run might suggest that it's coming back into the fray a little bit.
It's a massive last run. I think the other thing in Scout Leader's favour, of course, is that, you know, he's not been out the first two here, has he, in 2 starts, so he runs this track particularly well. Obviously on the dirt these days, aren't we, at Keeneland, of course?
Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, because this time last year it was the poly track, wasn't it? Difficult one, and Thundergram is by far the obvious horse. I mean, he's got a bit of back class in respect, or they thought he had a bit of back class, similar to Jumped in Frack Flash. The 10, the 6 horse, broke its maiden, then it ran in an allowance optional claimer, then went to the Arkansas Derby, which interestingly actually is being run at about 12 o'clock tonight.
It's being run tonight, isn't it?
12:15 this evening.
Last major trial, I think, major derby.
Yeah,
right.
It was beaten 12 lengths by Danza. Bayern was back in 3rd position. So actually, this horse wasn't that far, about 7 or 8 lengths behind Bayern. If you suddenly start looking at that form, if you stuck Bayern in here at 50,000 non-winners of 2, which he wouldn't get into, I appreciate, you'd have to be saying that the horse would have a great chance. And I guess the back class would suggest that this is. It should be good enough, but the 4 and the 10 I also like as well.
Yeah, it is a very, very competitive race, I have to say. I quite like Thundergram, I quite like Scout Leader as well, 6 and 4 personally, but they are moving up for race number 3, starting right in front of the stands here. Huge crowd, they estimate about 30,000 have turned up at Keeneland today, so that's not bad.
6 over the 4, 17, 6 over the 10, $15 for a $1 exacta. You know, it's
I'd take 6 over 4 or 4 over 6 personally.
Yeah, okay.
Either way round. Let's get across to Kurt for the call.
They're at the post. And they're off. Eaton Blue hustles out for the lead, and Thundergram is right alongside in the opening strides. Harbor Bound comes away running in 3rd. Eaton Blue has the advantage, though, from Thundergram as they go down to the first turn. Harbor Bound stays outward from the rail in the 3rd position. Include Indicat is 4th. King of Broadway is 5th between horses. Scout Leader 6th toward the inside. Harbor Bound going to be caught wide in the center of the pack around the first turn, and problems here early on for Perginality, as Perginality has unseated the rider and moves through the pack heading up to the backstretch. And Eaton Blue carefully against the rail, and likewise for Thundergram on the outside. A tepid moment there, but they go 1-2 up the backstretch. Gap of 2 lengths back to include Indicat in the 3rd position by just a neck. Harbor Bound is in 4th. Scout Leader is in 5th. Scout Leader now looks for some more running room in between horses, 4 lengths off the lead. And then further back, King of Broadway in 6th. Jumpin' Frack Flash is 7th toward the outside, and Colonel Krins 8th and last. First quarter 24 and 3. The first half mile in 48 and 4/5 seconds. So Eaton Blue is the leader by just a neck into the far turn. Thundergram is still alongside. They both have to change lanes toward the center of the track midway on the far turn. Then a gap of 3 more lengths back to Scout Leader on the outside and 3rd ahead. Include Indicat as 4th, but the leader's already past the quarter pole. Top of the short stretch, Eaton Blue is the leader coming toward the 8th pole. Has been chased every step of the way by Thundergram. Still a length between those top 2. Eaton Blue into the final furlong, leads it by 2 lengths. Thundergram is 2nd by 4. Scout Leader is 3rd. Coming to the 16th pole, Eaton Blue hanging tough with the advantage by 3. Back to Thundergram in 2nd. Eaton Blue wins it. Thundergram 2nd. Scout Leader was home 3rd, and was 4th.
Here after a couple of runs on the turf at Gulfstream, a couple of runs in allowance company, so a small drop perhaps in class. Ian Wilkes and Javier Castellano.
Well named. Looking at the colours, they are Eton blue with the brown belt and the brown cap, the Mary Lou Whitney stables. I guess this was gettable. Dropper came from Gulfstream Park. I'm sure plenty of people would have liked this. Joe Bravo on board last time, but drops in from a first level allowance contest on the turf, back to the dirt where it's finished place previously.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, had form on the dirt and confirms his current well-being. We are off for a short break. Wolverhampton on the way.